Tampa.
How come?
Because I think there's a bigger ecosystem in Tampa Bay area. Quite frankly, I have to say that I am starting to get to know a little bit of St. Pete, but I see a lot more stuff going on in Tampa.
Tampa. I would say Tampa because there's like more people, more interactive, things like that. But then again, I don't really know St. Pete all that much, so.
Neither. Lakeland.
Yeah, that's a trick question. That's hard. I got to go with St. Pete right now.
Oh, Tampa for sure.
Tampa or St. Pete? Tampa's the answer?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
That's a trick question because we are located in both the locations.
So we work, our office is in St. Pete, but we live in Tampa.
So maybe both?
So I think those two are our favorite cities.
Yeah.
It's quite a tough choice.
I'm sorry. It's a tough question. It's a really tough question.
They
All right,
both have amazing resources to offer. I think it depends on the startup and where it's a better fit for you, but either one I would think would be in my top two choices in the whole country.
Yeah, one of the best parts is the collaborative nature of the entire region, and it's a great place to build a startup, and you can recruit anybody here.
Oh man, born and raised in Pinellas County, but now I'm in Tampa, so I would say Tampa.
Perfect.
I'm going to go ahead and go with St. Petersburg. I live in Tampa, but St. Pete's my hometown.
There you go.
Ooh, St. Pete. I'm building mine as Tampa, so I'm going to say Tampa.
Okay. Why?
Why St. Pete? I think all the tech diversity is in St. Pete versus in Tampa. There's a lot of investors in Tampa, but they're always going to migrate to St. Pete.
And I think on my end, my community is based out of Tampa, so I definitely meet the most beneficial people here.
Oh, wow, that's a really tough choice. I live in Tampa and I work in Tampa, and I'm a big fan of Tampa. So I encourage entrepreneurs to come to Tampa and consider starting a startup here. St. Pete also got some great energy. I love to spend time in St. Pete. If I had to compare the two purely in terms of startup culture, however, I'd kind of have to side with Tampa. I think there's a little more infrastructure here in Tampa for starting a company.
Well, I would have to say Tampa, since I have done most of my startup stuff in Tampa. I do work across the bridge, but it is definitely challenging to get people to cross that bridge, and I would definitely say Tampa.
All right, thank you. I would put Tampa. Probably Tampa, yeah.
Ooh, that's tricky. I would still say Tampa. A lot more activity still happening on the Tampa side, but to go drinking for after work is St. Pete.
I'm doing both right now.
Why choose?
I think in 2025, Bootstrap is the winner right now.
Always bootstrap SaaS. If you can build it and like know how to do it, I would do bootstrapped 100%.
Bootstrapped.
Bootstrap.
Why?
Hands down bootstrap. I mean, it's always good to just have all the bets on your side and not really take that big a risk at the very early on. So definitely a bootstrap.
I would say go big with the VC-backed AI startup, especially because like how easy it is to actually create prototypes these days, right? So it's super quick to get to MVP using AI-assisted coding now. So get to the MVP, go the VC route, go big.
Honestly, it depends on the company. VC funding is right for some, but not for all. And the biggest thing is gauge your own needs for how much capital you're going to need to scale. And that's your answer.
If you can, hold on to your equity as long as possible, right? So venture capital looks sexy on TV, but it's not really always the best fit for every company. Sometimes it can actually put you in a position where you lose some control, right?
Yeah. Remember that VCs can be extremely helpful, and many of them are my best friends.
Right?
But it is the most expensive loan you'll ever take in your life.
I don't know if I can necessarily pick one side. Right. What I know is that I've been bootstrapping, but to a degree, I do want to aspire to VC level. So at some point, we'll get there.
Okay. I think it's healthy for founders to start their journey bootstrapped. It takes a level of humility to be able to be trusted with the stakeholders at the VC level, your employees, and all of that comes with it. So I would say start bootstrapped, suffer a little bit, and then you can earn more trust with bigger ambitions.
Right. Bootstrap all the way.
How come?
Because if you go with VC, then you have a new boss. You want to be your own boss. That's the whole point of it.
Very true.
So I'm already bootstrapping SaaS right now, so I'm going to go that way.
I'm in the same boat, so I picked that option as well.
T. Okay.
Go big or go home, as far as I'm concerned. I think that if you're going to do anything, to do it right, you got to do it big and bold and beautiful. And the VC road doesn't have to be scary, especially if you have a good lawyer on your team who can help guide you through the process. But look, there's nothing wrong with a tiny little SaaS company at all. If you've got a good idea and you want to figure out how to monetize it and get it out into commerce, go for it. There's plenty of room for everybody.
Well, I mean, I think AI startups are probably overhyped right now, but to be able to have an enterprise-grade, larger scale where it would require VC funding, I think that's going to definitely be the thing. I totally respect people who can bootstrap something that can move, but you really, when you get into enterprise stuff, it's not as sexy. But you know what it does? It makes money.
Ricky, I would still go with bootstrap just because, you know what? I don't want to be at the mercy of a VC and be exposed to all kinds of things. The one good thing you will learn from working with a VC, actually two things. One is you'll learn some French words like tranche, which means slice, tiny slice of money they give you. The other thing you will learn with a VC is not to go with a VC.
Yeah, I think you leverage talent wherever it comes from. So I'll go offshore.
I think you do a hybrid. I think you have some folks in-house that know how to leverage offshore teams when they have a project where they can do it quickly and make it work.
That's so hard. I would probably say in-house to start, and then as you grow, you can scale a lot faster with remote teams.
Boy, that's a great question. As much as I can, I think as long as you have strong enough leadership in-house, you can outsource and the rest of the dev team.
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I would say a combination, because there are certain things that you need in-house engineers for, but there are certain things that you can also do remotely. So yeah, I would say a good combination is good.
In-house engineers. If you're a tech company and you don't have in-house tech, you're not a tech company. I'm sorry, but you can't outsource your family jewels. If the whole point of your commercial enterprise is to release a technology product, someone has to have ownership of that product in-house. Can you use overseas and outside independent contractors? Sure, absolutely.
Depends on the cost.
Yeah, depends on your cost and the stage that you're in. Stage that you're in and the cost, yeah.
I think it depends on the stage of the company. If you're in your very earliest stages, you need to be probably working with somebody by your side as much as possible. Offshoring is a great solution maybe after your core product has been developed, but I also know people who have worked with offshore teams on their core development too. So, if you have experience working with offshore teams, or that could be a great solution too. But I don't know. Personally, I like to, if I'm building the initial product, I like doing it in the war room with my designers and developers together.
Yep. Build efficiently, sell quickly, and then build your version 2 with the perfect dev team. Have your tech lead be near you, and your actual building team can be offshore. So that's my advice.
I'm a bit biased because I'm an in-house engineer, but that's what I'm going to go with.
I think nowadays you're really looking at a combination. Okay. So it's really being able to have that combination of in-house expertise with some outsourcing capabilities. And there's so many technologies that we learned through, COVID and everything else like that to allow us to have this global workforce and be able to have some in-source, at the end of the day, you need to have someone in the house that knows what's going on. Exactly. But to be able to have that augmented by people in offshore, I think is a great idea.
That's a great question, because we have a remote offshore dev team, but we're looking to in-house everything right now. So I would say remote offshore in the beginning stages, just to get up and running very quickly, and then bring everything in-house when you start raising capital.